yoga practice with our fabulous teacher, Jerry George. In the interim, you might also be interested to read the poem I've included on motherhood. If you're able, would you please hit the Donate Now button as well? That will help us to continue to bring this and other programs to you. Thank you. The work of art I've chosen is Autumn in the Country from 1914, a watercolor on paper by Marguerite Zorak. I can just hear you saying, Mary, Mary, quite contrary, why are you talking about an autumn picture when we want spring to spring now that it's May? But trust me, Marguerite is a very interesting artist who led a very interesting life. You'll thank me. Trust me. My comments today are primarily based on pioneering research about Zorak by art historian Roberta Tarbell. So, she was born Marguerite Thompson in California in 1886, and in 1910 and 11, she made an around-the-world tour, spending a great deal of time in Paris. She was in the thick of things in avant-garde art circles. She attended Gertrude Stein's salon. She participated in and visited exhibitions. She studied art. She was not interested in attending an academic program, rather studied with post-impressionist painters, and from them she gained a lifelong interest in the use of expressive color and innovative form to express the inner spirit of a thing. She met many different artists, including her future husband, William Zorak, in Paris. From there, she went to North Africa and Asia before returning home to California. In late 1912, she and Zorak married, and they settled in Greenwich Village, and that was just in time for both of them to be accepted into the famed Armory Show, which opened in New York in February 1913. And as I said, in 1914, she painted Autumn in the Country. Now, this is a remarkably innovative work of art for an American to compose in 1914. What we see is an idyllic, almost Eden kind of scene with Adam and Eve planting. We see no farm equipment. It seems pre-industrial, doesn't it? And the scene is created with a very flat pictorial space. The landscape is created by a pattern, really, of the line in green and blue of the earth interwoven or mixed with the yellow lines of the sun beaming down on the scene. And then the color palette is very bold and complementary too. The orange foliage of the tree in complement with the dark cobalt of the mountain and the cloud. Now, the Zoraks had two children, Tessem, a son, in 1915, and Dalev, a daughter, in 1917. And eventually, they would spend winters in Greenwich Village and summers in New England. And in the early 1920s, they bought property in Stonington, Maine. And perhaps not surprisingly, as a mother of young children, Marguerite discovered that it would help her to remain creative if she worked in textiles. So she brought her modernist sensibility to batik and embroidery, creating quite innovative things that she exhibited alongside her paintings and other works of art. Roberta Tarbell wrote, I think, a good summation of Marguerite Zorak. She said that Zorak, quote, created abstracted images reliant upon natural inspiration generation international folk forms a sense of universal spirituality and expressionist color. Now, the Mother's Day part of this talk comes with Marguerite and William's daughter, Dalove, who was an artist in her own right, began exhibiting in New York City as a very young woman in her 20s, showing at the Museum of Modern Art, for instance. She, in addition to being a fine artist, was also an illustrator. She has many children's books to her name, illustrated with delightful interpretations of animals and their adventures, sometimes ABC books. My favorite is titled The Cat at Night, the cat leaving the farm and musing around the city, the town all evening. And I have this charming image of skunks on a pillow designed by Dalove, who married a gentleman named Ipcar. So her name is Dalove Ipcar. And the family tradition of artistic expression lives on. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Mother's Day, as I say. And please stay safe, stay well, and namaste.